Nearly 2 million years ago, long before cities, farming, or written language existed, the world was shaped by vast open landscapes and simple survival. This was the age of Homo erectus, one of the most successful human species to ever walk the earth. They lived far longer than modern humans have so far, surviving for over 1.5 million years. And this story follows a single, ordinary day in their world. Dawn approaches slowly on the African savanna. The air is cool, carrying the earthy smell of damp soil and tall grass. Many early humans lived in this kind of open environment. Their bodies were well adapted to it: long legs for efficient walking, strong muscles for endurance, and a posture almost identical to ours. In fact, Homo erectus was the first human ancestor known to have a fully upright gait, very similar to modern humans. In a shallow natural shelter, a small group rests together. They don't build complex homes. Simple depressions in the ground or the shade of trees are enough. Their social groups are small, maybe 20 individuals at most. The group shares warmth and safety during the night because large predators such as lions, leopards, and hyenas roam freely in this era. As the first light spreads across the horizon, one individual begins to stir. We will call him Cora. Not because early humans used names, but so you can follow him easily through this day. Cora opens his eyes slowly. His vision focuses on the brightening sky. Even without language as we know it, Homo erectus had excellent eyesight and awareness. Their brains were larger than earlier human ancestors, around 900 cubic centimeters, about 2/3 of a modern human brain. This allowed them to plan, remember locations, track animals, and work together. Cora sits up, stretching his arms and back. His bones and muscles are strong. Homo erectus walked long distances daily, sometimes over 10 to 20 kilometers, in search of water, food, and safe resting places. Their endurance was one of their greatest advantages. Around him, the rest of the group wakes gradually. A mother adjusts her sleeping child. 2 young adults rub their hands together for warmth. They communicate with soft sounds, gestures, and facial expressions. While they didn't have fully complex speech, scientists believed they had a system of meaningful vocalizations, simple calls, emotional tones, and signals. The morning routine always begins the same way: find water. Early humans understood the land well. They remembered seasonal pools, rivers, and hidden springs. Without water, survival is impossible. Cora rises to his feet. He scans the horizon. His posture is steady, his silhouette unmistakably human. He starts walking, and the others follow without hesitation. Leadership in Homo erectus groups was not strict or formal. It was practical. Whoever knew the environment best or reacted quickest often guided the movement. The walk is calm and steady. Their long legs and narrow hips, features different from earlier species, allow energy-efficient walking. This is one reason Homo erectus spread far beyond Africa, eventually reaching Asia and Europe. As the group moves through the grass, dew wets their feet. Birds call from the trees. The savanna begins to wake. The sky shifts from pale gold to a soft, full daylight. After some time, they reach a shallow pool, one of the temporary water sources created by seasonal rains. Cora approaches cautiously. Homo erectus had excellent survival instincts and understood that waterholes could attract predators. But this morning, all is quiet. They kneel to drink, cupping water with their hands. Children splash lightly, making ripples across the still surface. It's a peaceful moment, but also a necessary one. Hydration determines how far they can travel and how well they can hunt today. As Cora studies the muddy ground, he notices something important. Hoof prints, fresh ones. A zebra passed through recently, maybe within the last hour. For Homo erectus, this is valuable information. They were not the fastest hunters, but they had a unique strategy: persistence hunting. This meant tracking an animal until it became exhausted, something only humans can do efficiently due to sweat cooling and endurance. Cora kneels and touches the print. The soil is soft, the edges sharp, very fresh. He stands and signals to the others with a soft sound and a simple gesture. The meaning is clear: follow the trail. And so, with morning light rising behind them, the group prepares to continue. guided by instinct, experience, and a deep understanding of the world around them. The group finishes drinking, and for a brief moment, the morning feels calm. But survival in this world never stays still for long. As Cora kneels near the edge of the pool, his attention fixes on something important: a fresh hoofprint pressed into the soft mud. The edges are sharp, the soil still slightly moist. This track belongs to a zebra, and not a whole herd, but a single animal moving alone. For early humans, this was meaningful information. A lone zebra could be vulnerable. It might be a young male forced away from its group or an adult briefly separated from the herd. Either way, for Homo erectus, this represents a realistic hunting opportunity. Homo erectus was not the fastest hunter on the savanna, but they had something far more valuable: endurance. Their bodies were built for long-distance travel. Long legs, narrow hips, strong buttock muscles, and a well-balanced stride allowed them to walk and run for hours. They also had a crucial biological advantage: sweat glands. While many animals must stop to pant to cool down, early humans could regulate body temperature while moving, giving them an edge in extremely long pursuits. Cora crouches closer to the track. He uses his fingers to feel the soil and studies the angle of the print. These simple gestures reflect advanced cognitive ability. With a brain size of around 850 to 900 cubic centimeters, Homo erectus had enough mental capacity to track animals, form strategies, and remember details of the terrain. The group watches him silently. Early humans did not have structured language, but they communicated through gestures, vocal tones, and eye contact. Leadership was fluid. Those with experience naturally guided the rest. Cora stands, tilts his head toward the grassy trail, and makes a short, low, vocal sound. It's not a word, but everyone understands. Follow the tracks. The group reorganizes quickly. Younger adults spread out into a wider formation, moving ahead to scan the landscape. Older individuals stay closer to the children, keeping them in the safest part of the group. This simple but effective organization hints at something important. Homo erectus had a cooperative social structure. Their survival depended on shared awareness, shared labor, and shared protection. The trail leads them across an open plain where tall grass shifts lazily in the morning breeze. As the sun climbs higher, the air warms noticeably. In this heat, the zebra will tire more quickly than the humans pursuing it. This is exactly what makes persistence hunting effective. Not speed, but patience and endurance over long distances. Cora stops occasionally to check the ground. A crushed patch of grass tells him the animal passed recently. A drop of wet mud kicked up by a hoof shows the direction of movement. Even a faint disturbance in the dust can reveal how fast the zebra was moving at that moment. Homo erectus understood their environment deeply. They learned the habits of prey animals, the paths they preferred, and how they reacted to heat. They also knew how far they could push their own bodies before resting. The tracks begin to look fresher. The edges are clearer. The grass is bent forward in a more pronounced path. This means the zebra is close, within sight if they move carefully. Suddenly, a shadow flickers between the bushes ahead, a striped shape. The zebra moves cautiously, unaware it is being followed. Cora drops to one knee. He raises his hand slightly, signaling the others to slow down. The younger hunters react immediately, adjusting their positions. The goal is not an ambush. Homo erectus could not overpower a zebra in a sudden attack. Instead, they must pressure the animal into running, then keep it moving until exhaustion forces it to slow. This method works because human physiology is uniquely suited for long, steady activity. Our large gluteal muscles stabilize the pelvis during running. Our Achilles tendons act like springs, storing energy with each step. And our ability to sweat over the entire body prevents overheating. Homo erectus possessed all of these traits long before modern humans did. The zebra stands still for a moment, ears twitching, then trots forward nervously. It knows something feels wrong, but it cannot identify the threat. This is the critical moment. Cora glances at the others. They exchange a series of short clicks and breaths. Simple signals, nothing close to modern language, but meaningful enough. And then, with a quiet motion, the chase begins. The zebra bursts forward into the grass, but Cora and the others do not sprint. They follow. Steady, measured, relentless. This is the beginning of a long pursuit, one shaped by the land, the heat, and the remarkable endurance of early humans. The zebra darts forward through the tall grass, its hooves striking the dry ground with rapid, uneven rhythms. It is faster than anything Cora's group can match in a sprint, but that does not matter. Speed is the zebra's advantage. Endurance is theirs. Cora and the others move at a calm, steady pace. Their breathing remains controlled. Homo erectus was built for this type of motion, long-distance, energy-efficient tracking. As the hours pass, the heat of the savanna grows. The zebra must stop often to pant, its body struggling to cool down. In contrast, the humans can keep moving while regulating temperature through sweat. Every 20 or 30 minutes, Cora pauses to scan the terrain. He looks for disturbed grass, patches of sand kicked up, or fresh dung. These signs guide him like a map. Persistence hunting is slow, patient work. It may last 2 to 5 hours, even longer on difficult terrain. But Homo erectus had the stamina for it. As the sun climbs higher, the zebra's movements become less coordinated. It runs in shorter bursts and stops more often. Its head droops. The chase is no longer a competition of speed, but of endurance, something early humans excelled at long before the emergence of Homo sapiens. Finally, after another push across a rocky area, the zebra stumbles. It tries to regain balance, but collapses onto its knees. Its breathing is loud and labored. Cora approaches carefully, raising one hand to signal the others to slow down. Even in exhaustion, a zebra can kick hard enough to break bones. The group circles the animal at a safe distance. They do not attack with bare hands. Instead, 2 young adults step forward carrying simple but effective stone tools, hand axes shaped from large flakes of rock. These tools represent one of the most important innovations in human evolution. Known as Acheulean tools, they were symmetrical, sharp, and versatile. Homo erectus crafted them by striking one stone against another, removing flakes until a clean cutting edge emerged. Scientists know that these tools were used for many purposes: cutting meat, breaking bones, scraping hides, shaping wood. Their presence marks a leap in planning ability, understanding that preparing tools in advance leads to success later. Cora moves closer to the zebra and waits for its breathing to slow. Then, with coordinated effort, the group brings the animal down completely. The process is efficient and respectful of the danger involved. Within moments, the zebra lies still. Almost immediately, the group begins working. Homo erectus wasted nothing. Meat is valuable, but so are bones, tendons, fat, and skin. One of the young hunters uses the stone hand axe to cut into the zebra's hide. The tool slices surprisingly well. Acheulean edges can be as sharp as modern knives. Another member breaks long bones to access marrow, a rich source of fat and calories essential for survival in this harsh environment. Studies of early sites show that marrow was a major part of the diet, sometimes even more reliable than fresh meat. Older individuals guide the younger ones on how to process the animal. This cooperative sharing of knowledge is a foundational behavior in human evolution. It is not spoken instruction, more like demonstration through action. Children watch attentively, learning where to cut, how to break bone, how to keep stone tools sharp. Cora keeps watch as the others work. Even now, while the group is focused on butchering, predators may be nearby. The smell of fresh blood can attract lions or hyenas. Homo erectus lacked the strong jaws and claws of these animals, but they compensated with coordination and awareness. When the butchering is complete, the group organizes the valuable pieces of meat and bone. They carry everything using their hands, hides, or simple plant fibers twisted into cords. Accepting weight and walking long distances was part of daily life for early humans. Before leaving, Cora and 2 others check the surroundings once more. Satisfied that the area is safe for now, he signals the group to move. The return journey will be slower, but they walk with a quiet confidence. The hunt has been successful, and the group now has enough food for the day, and likely for several days if preserved near fire. As they begin walking back toward their temporary camp, the sun starts its gradual descent. The heat eases slightly. A light breeze moves across the savanna, carrying the scent of grass and dust. This rhythm, walking, tracking, hunting, sharing, is the rhythm of Homo erectus life. It is simple but highly efficient, and it is the foundation of many behaviors humans still carry today. The group moves steadily toward home, the weight of the day's success shared among them. The journey back to the temporary camp is slow but steady. Each member of the group carries a share of the zebra, strips of meat, bones rich with marrow, and parts of the hide. This cooperative effort is typical for Homo erectus. They lived in small groups, usually fewer than 30 individuals, and survival depended on shared work rather than individual strength. The afternoon sun hangs high but begins to soften. Cora keeps a careful eye on the horizon as they move. In this environment, predators are a constant concern. Lions, hyenas, and sometimes even large birds of prey can threaten a group that is distracted or tired. But Homo erectus had a major advantage: awareness and coordination. Their ability to work together, communicate danger, and stay organized gave them protection in a landscape filled with stronger animals. After a long walk, they approached the area where they rested earlier. There is no built structure, just a familiar patch of ground beneath several scattered trees. Early humans of this period didn't build permanent shelters. They followed food and water, moving whenever resources shifted. Their camps were simple, temporary spots used for a day or two before traveling onward. One of the older women, let's call her Aka, remains behind at the camp with 2 children. Elders often stayed with the young, both to protect them and to pass on knowledge. Even without formal teaching, children learned by watching closely. Every gesture, movement, and task performed by adults became a lesson. AKA kneels beside a circular patch of blackened earth where the group kept fire. The role of fire in Homo erectus life cannot be overstated. Evidence suggests that they were among the first humans to control fire consistently, perhaps as early as 1 million years ago. This ability changed everything. It provided warmth, protection, cooked food, and a safe place for social interaction. The fire from the previous night has nearly faded, but there are still a few glowing embers buried beneath ash. AKA knows exactly how to revive them. She gently scrapes the ashes aside with a stick, revealing the faint orange glow underneath. She adds dry grass and thin twigs, then leans close and blows slowly. Sparks brighten, catching the grass, and within moments, small flames rise again. Fire making at this time was not always about creating fire from scratch. Often it was about preserving it. If the group could keep embers alive from one night to the next, they didn't need to strike stones together or carry burning branches for long distances. By the time Cora and the others arrive, the fire is already crackling softly. The smell of smoke and dry wood mixes with the scent of fresh meat. The group sets down their loads and begins preparing the food. Some members cut the meat into long strips. Others place bones near the fire to soften the fat inside. Cooking makes food easier to chew and digest, a crucial advantage. Studies suggest that cooked food helped early humans extract more calories efficiently, supporting larger brains. A young adolescent sits nearby and studies the stone tools used for cutting. He picks up a broken flake and taps it against another stone, imitating the toolmakers. This kind of learning, simple imitation, is one of the foundations of cultural transmission. Homo erectus didn't teach with words, but they passed knowledge down through generations by example. Cora moves around the camp, checking the surroundings, adjusting the firewood, and occasionally signaling to others with small gestures. There is no strict hierarchy, but experienced individuals naturally guide group decisions. As the meat cooks, the aroma spreads through the air. The group eats in small portions, not all at once. Food sharing is another characteristic behavior that likely strengthened bonds within early human communities. Those who were injured, elderly, or caring for children often receive support from others. Nearby, one of the older men cracks large bones with a heavy stone, revealing rich marrow. He scoops it out with a sharpened flake. This nutrient-dense substance is especially important for young children whose growing bodies need calories and fat. As the sun begins its slow descent, shadows stretch across the camp. The day has been long but successful. The hunt provided food, the fire offers safety, and the group is gathered together again. Homo erectus lived in a world full of uncertainty, but moments like this, warm fire, shared food, calm surroundings, were islands of stability in a harsh environment. These moments also played a subtle role in human evolution. They strengthened cooperation, deepened social bonds, and gave early humans a setting in which to rest, recover, and prepare for the challenges of the next day. As the light grows dimmer, the fire becomes the center of the camp, its warmth drawing the group closer. This circle of light and heat is where the night's final hours will unfold. As the afternoon continues, the heat begins to fade, replaced by a gentle breeze moving across the open landscape. The fire crackles steadily in the center of the camp. The group is full from the meal, and the tension of the hunt has softened into a calm, steady rhythm. But a Homo erectus day rarely ends with rest. Even in the late hours, there is still work to be done, tasks that keep the group prepared for tomorrow's challenges. A few young adults sit near the fire with pieces of stone collected during past journeys. These stones are not random rocks. They are carefully chosen materials like quartzite, flint, or basalt, all of which fracture predictably when struck. Early humans learned through generations which stones worked best for cutting tools. This knowledge wasn't written down or explained with words. Instead, it was passed through simple observation and imitation. One young male picks up a rounded stone and positions it on his knee. With a second stone, acting as a hammer, he strikes the edges at an angle. Each controlled hit removes a sharp flake. This technique is called napping, and for Homo erectus, it was second nature. Oculian tools, especially their characteristic hand axes, required planning and precision. To create the symmetrical shape, the toolmaker had to imagine the final form and remove flakes in a careful sequence. Even though they lacked modern language, this kind of planning reveals a lot about Homo erectus intelligence. They understood cause and effect, remembered techniques, and recognized which shapes were most useful for slicing meat, cutting plants, or scraping hides. Making a stone tool could take anywhere from a few minutes to over an hour, depending on the complexity. Nearby, a woman uses a sharp flake to scrape the outer layer of the zebra hide. This makes the skin more flexible and easier to use. At the edge of the camp, two other adults inspect the wooden branches collected earlier in the day. They trim the ends with stone flakes to shape digging sticks, useful for reaching tubers, roots, or small hidden animals like burrowing rodents. As the group works, children watch closely. They pick up stones, mimic tapping motions, or try to scrape sticks the way adults do. These attempts are clumsy but important. Learning through imitation is one of the foundations of cultural transmission. Homo erectus didn't teach with words, but they passed knowledge down through generations by example. AKA, the elder woman completes her task slowly and methodically. She sits near the fire, sorting through bones that still contain valuable fat. Using a heavy stone, she cracks one open with a clean strike. This is not random strength. She knows exactly where to hit to split the bone. Inside, she finds soft marrow and eats a small piece before passing the rest to a child. Marrow is one of the most calorie-dense foods available and essential for brain development in early human evolution. Cora walks the perimeter of the camp. His role is not formal leadership, but habit. Some individuals naturally developed stronger spatial memory or awareness, and others followed them out of practicality. Cora checks for fresh tracks, listens for distant animal calls, and surveys the direction the group traveled from earlier. Tomorrow, they may need to move again. Water sources dry up quickly in this environment, and food availability shifts constantly. Homo erectus groups were nomadic, traveling as resources demanded. They followed migration routes of animals, seasonal plants, and especially water. As the sun begins its final descent, the landscape turns a softer shade of orange and red. Shadows lengthen, and the air cools noticeably. This is the time when many predators become active. Lions and hyenas often hunt at dusk. The group shifts closer to the fire. Firelight offers protection, not because predators fear it completely, but because it disrupts their approach and helps humans stay alert. The atmosphere around the camp becomes quieter, focused. Stone tools are set aside. Bones and hides are arranged neatly for the next day. The group gathers into a loose circle around the fire, their movements steady and predictable, shaped by countless generations of similar evenings. It is preparation, mental and physical, for the next day's journey. As night approaches, the fire will become the heart of the group, just as it did for many millennia of early humans. In this moment, surrounded by simple tools, shared food, and the calming glow of flames, we can begin to see the roots of human cooperation, learning, and planning, the behaviors that would eventually shape our species' future. As the sun drops below the horizon, the camp shifts into its evening rhythm. The sky turns from orange to deep blue, and the first stars appear above the savanna. Night brought real danger for early humans, so the group naturally gathers closer to the fire. The flames are brighter now in the fading light, and every movement around the camp becomes slower and more deliberate. The fire gives more than warmth. For Homo erectus, it offered protection, comfort, and a stable point of focus. Predators like lions or hyenas often hunted at dusk. Though fire didn't completely scare them away, it made it harder for them to approach unseen. The glow illuminated the area around the group, making it easier to spot moving shapes or hear unusual sounds. Cora sits near the edge of the firelight, still alert. His day has been long, tracking, hunting, carrying, but his awareness remains sharp. Early humans couldn't afford complete relaxation until deep into the night. Their survival depended on a balance between rest and vigilance. Cora listens for distant noises, movement in the grass, bird calls, or the distinctive whooping of hyenas. Closer to the center of the camp, others settle down with quieter tasks. A young woman gently turns a piece of meat near the flames, ensuring it cooks evenly. Children huddle near their parents. Their day has been full of activity, walking, gathering, watching adults make tools. And now, fatigue sets in. They lie closer to the fire, instinctively moving toward warmth. Early human children learned by observing everything around them, and evenings were part of that learning. AKA sits with two other older members. Age brought experience, and experience brought value to the group. Older individuals knew where water sources had been in past seasons, which areas had dangerous animals, and how weather patterns shifted across the savanna. Their memories were part of the group's survival strategy. Communication in Homo erectus groups was not like modern speech, but it wasn't silent either. They used simple vocal sounds, grunts, hums, sharp calls, combined with hand motions and facial expressions. These signals conveyed mood, urgency, or direction. Around the fire, you might hear quiet murmurs or low, rhythmic sounds. One young adult sits with a half-shaped stone tool, turning it slowly in the firelight. He runs his fingers along the edge, checking for sharpness. He uses a smaller stone to tap imperfections away, producing a steady, rhythmic knocking sound. Tool maintenance was a constant part of daily life, and evenings provided a safe moment to do it. Across the camp, a pair of adults sort through leftover bones. Some fragments are saved for later use. Others are cracked open for any remaining marrow. Nothing is wasted. Food scarcity was a constant threat for early humans, so every resource mattered. The fire grows brighter as more wood is added. Sparks rise into the air and disappear into the dark. The group moves slightly closer, forming a loose circle. As the sky turns completely dark, the sounds of the savanna grow louder. Insects buzz in the tall grass. A distant roar echoes across the plains. The group reacts with subtle tension, but they do not panic. Their confidence comes from numbers, fire, and their experience navigating this environment. Gradually, the mood shifts into rest. Some individuals lie down, curling on their sides. Others remain seated but relax their posture. Their bodies, built for long days of movement, now settle into stillness. The fire casts warm light on their faces, highlighting the features that make them both familiar and ancient. Strong brows, broad faces, muscular limbs. These quiet moments reveal something essential about early humans. Despite having smaller brains than modern people, they showed behaviors that required coordination, planning, and social cooperation. Their evenings around the fire formed a foundation for shared awareness and safety. As the flames crackle and shadows shift softly across the ground, the group drifts into a peaceful, fragile calm. The day has been long, and tomorrow will demand their strength again. But for now, surrounded by firelight and the shared presence of their group, they rest together in safety at the edge of the ancient night. Night settles fully across the savanna, covering the land in darkness broken only by the flicker of the fire. The temperature drops quickly after sunset, and the warm air of the day is replaced by a cool breeze. For Homo erectus, nighttime was both a time of rest and a time of caution. Darkness brought new challenges. Many predators preferred to hunt now, using the cover of night to move silently. The group lies close to the fire, their bodies arranged in a loose circle. Fire provides warmth, but its real advantage is visibility. It creates a boundary between safety and danger, a zone where movement can be seen and sounds are clearer. Cora shifts slightly, adjusting his position. His eyes open for a moment, scanning the shadows beyond the firelight. It is a light sleep, but effective. The human ability to wake quickly may have roots in this era, a survival strategy shaped by constant threats. A faint sound echoes from the distance, the whooping call of hyenas. Cora's eyes move toward the noise, but he shows no panic. The group has eaten, the meat has been cooked, and scraps have been carried far from camp to avoid unwanted visitors. Akoi, the elder woman, shifts beside the children. Her presence is calming. Older individuals carried valuable knowledge about the land, seasons, and patterns of danger. Their memories were part of the group's survival strategy. Communication in Homo erectus groups was simple but effective. They used short vocal sounds combined with hand motions and facial expressions to convey mood, urgency, or direction. Around the fire, you might hear quiet murmurs or low rhythmic sounds, signs of coordination even at the end of a long day. One young adult sits with a half-shaped stone tool, turning it slowly in the firelight. He checks the edge and makes a few careful adjustments with a smaller stone, producing a soft, steady knocking sound. Across the camp, a pair of adults sort through leftover bones. Some fragments are saved, others are cracked open for any remaining marrow. Nothing is wasted. Food scarcity was a constant threat for early humans, so every resource mattered. The fire grows brighter as more wood is added. Sparks rise into the air and disappear into the dark. The group moves slightly closer, forming a loose circle as the sky becomes fully black. Insects buzz and a distant roar echoes across the plains. The group reacts with subtle tension, but they do not panic. Their confidence comes from numbers, fire, and their understanding of their environment. Gradually, the mood shifts into rest. Some individuals lie down, curling on their sides. Others remain seated but relax their posture. The fire casts warm light on their faces, highlighting strong brows, broad noses, and sturdy limbs, features that connect them to us, yet reflect a distant stage of evolution. Hours pass quietly. The embers glow red, pulsing gently. Around this fading light, the group rests in shallow cycles of sleep. Their day, from tracking to hunting to tool-making, reveals why Homo erectus successfully spread across Africa, into Asia, and eventually into Europe. Their endurance, cooperation, and adaptability formed the foundation for later human species. Eventually, the first faint light of dawn appears on the horizon. Another day will soon begin, bringing new challenges and familiar routines. For now, the camp remains peaceful. The ancient night holds them gently, just as it did for countless generations of early humans. Thank you for listening to this calm journey into the world of early humans. If you enjoyed this story and want more relaxing history content like this, feel free to subscribe and support the channel. We're a brand new channel, and your support helps us create more immersive narratives, more sleep-friendly documentaries, and more comforting stories from the past. Good night, and see you in the next video.